You take your medicine too. We don't need no more kids running around here.
Oh my! Definitely take that medicine, Jesus.
Harp says she's too old to have kids.
I didn't say that.
No,
Don't do that. I didn't say that.
No.
He lied. He lied.
What are you doing?
He's a liar.
Hart caught a stray in a conversation. He didn't even say nothing.
What did I do to deserve that
Where did that
story?
come from?
She said she hate meeting you now.
Oh, wow.
How I catch a stray from 3,000 miles away?
And you were being quiet. It wasn't even like you were saying anything. He's sitting there minding his own business and just, oh, that's funny.
Oh, you the new Mars Chestnut.
Yes, jeez.
He is.
And that was worse than Mars.
Wow.
What up? This is Robert Horry.
Horry, three-pointer. Buries it.
You might know me as Big Shot Bob.
To Horry for three. Oh,
Is Carmen upstairs?
unbelievable. This guy is off the charts.
What's going on, Big Shot Bob?
Robert Horry from downtown.
Rob's home life bleeding over into the show this week. It's the Shoot Around, our little Friday bonus show here on the Big Shot Bob podcast. B-Dog Brandon Harper, I'm Rob Jenners. That is a 7-time NBA champion from his living room, Robert Horry. And I'm going to start with a question from Gary because we didn't talk about this on the Tuesday show, but it's a good question. Rob, did I really see Daryl Morey say he expects Embiid to return at, quote, an MVP level? What do you guys think Joel Embiid even has left in the tank? And here was the story that came with that, by the way. Daryl Morey says he expects Joel Embiid to play at an MVP level if he comes back. If Joel comes back, it's going to be at a very high level. I don't see any scenario where he's fading. I understand it wasn't his best year last year. My point's different, though. My point is I see him playing at a high level, and it's so important to him that we either get himself there or not. That's my feeling. I think he views himself correctly as an MVP level guy. Daryl Morey just trying to do the right thing in the public eye for the team to say, yeah, he's still MVP level. There's no way he believes that, right?
I think he's doing the right thing as a GM, and he's saying all the right things, and he's trying to keep his fingers crossed and throw it out there in the universe and hope that it really happens. And if you think about it, they shut him down early, so you hope that he can get healthy enough to where he can get back to MVP level. And you think about it, he had, 2 good years there where he didn't win the MVP and Joker won, and then he won the MVP. So he had 2 good years. So I think what hurt Joel Embiid most of all was playing in the Olympics, where he should have never been on the team, should never played, and that could have been some time he healed up. So hopefully he can get back to that level, because when you talk about a talented person, a talented player, he is there. So do I know if he can? I don't know the man. I don't know what kind of work ethic he got. I don't know if he's right now in the lab trying to make his body better, trying to lose weight to keep some of the stress off his knees and ankles. Who knows? So, but I hope he does, because I enjoy him. I really enjoy when Big's in the game and can dominate like him.
Yeah, when he's on and he's healthy, yes, for sure. Harp, wasn't it you that said that, like, how often do you re-injure the same thing 2-3 times and come back at full health? Because I think that was kind of the opinion of, it's not a matter of decline in his game, like he's not trying or he's not working out, or it's just if you continue to hurt the knee or you continue to hurt the ankle, it's just gonna bark at you for the rest of your career, I would imagine.
Well, I said he came into the league hurt.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, we talk about guys Ben Simmons, guys who came into the league out of college hurt, dealing with injuries, and how that does not get better as time goes on. And I think we're seeing something like that with Joel Embiid. You know, Daryl Morey can say whatever he wants, and he's supposed to say that because he's the GM. He's supposed to be some form of politically correct. Sure. But ain't nobody blind out here.
That's the truth.
I'm just telling you that now.
Yeah. The only player, you think about it, the only player that really came into the league hurt is kind of success was Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
You know, even though he did win the MVP, meaning Joel Embiid, but being consistently each and every year where you can count on him, you know, even though he's hurt now with his shoulder, which is something totally different from his back. And I never thought Michael Porter Jr. was going to be as good as he is, because when you have a severe back injury like he had, you just like, man, you just waiting on some bad shit to happen. But I'm glad he's been able to overcome that and play very well.
Yeah. It's the MVP stuff. Like, bro, you got to play a full season.
Yeah, I mean, talk to me. Yeah, you're right. Talk to me after you make 50 games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then we could have a conversation about how. Like at this point, it's play more than 50% of the season. Because isn't that the stat that's going to follow him forever? He's missed about half his career. So yeah, get through half the season, and we can have a conversation about how you're playing. Even if you're not at an MVP level, but you are there and you're contributing every night, I'd rather get that than 35 really good games out of you, and then 60 on the bench. You know what I mean? Embiid. By the way, speaking of which, Embiid apparently has been given Halliburton advice during the playoff run. Apparently, Joel Embiid's been texting him. Halliburton credits Embiid and Jason Tatum for keeping it 100 conversations that helped him build immunity to rejection. Embiid has been subject to ridicule as he fails to stay healthy. He's been texting with Halliburton through the postseason, imploring him to shoot the ball more. Okay, I didn't know they had that kind of relationship, friendship, but I guess maybe over the Olympics they built something. But Rob, did you have somebody that you turned to for your advice during your NBA career, like another player that you would text or?
Fuck no.
No, okay, there you go. Robert Horry, a one-man show.
It's so. I went through a spell one time where I was just playing bad, and I reached out to my brother. My brother don't even know this story, and me and my brother are not that close. We text, but
older or younger?
Older brother. Oh, he's the one that got me into playing basketball.
Okay.
And I called and reached out. We just talked, man. We just talked about, from how you started playing basketball, why you play the game. And he says, man, you don't look happy. And he says, that's the most important thing for players to look be happy. And I had some other things going on too. And I said, man, I'm doing something that a zillion people would love to do. And I'm letting this affect me mentally. And from that moment, I just says, fuck it. I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm just going to have fun. I'm going to play hard. If we win, we win. We lose, so be it. But I'm going to give you everything I got. And then if I give you everything I got, I can just walk away happy. And because there's going to be people who play better than you. There's going to be people that are better than you. And so you just can't stress over that. And he didn't even realize it was a simple, maybe 15-minute conversation, but it was key things he said that inspired me to do other things, and so I just went. That's the only person I ever called that and it was weird because I couldn't call my best friend, I didn't call my wife, I didn't call a coach, a former coach, or a former teammate. I called my brother because he was the one that was just gonna give it to me straight. A lot of times guys that are in your corner, they give you some fluff. Oh, fuck that motherfucker, man! You better than him. Oh, you need to do this. But when you got a motherfucker who don't really give a shit about you, in the sense that
doesn't care about your feelings,
what
right?
You do,
yeah.
He just give it to you real. And now he said, man, you ain't having fun, man. Just fuck, just go out and play and say fuck it, and I had to credit him for that. And that's the only person.
Okay, good. Question from Cliff. I've heard both Minnesota and Miami is the teams most interested in adding Kevin Durant this offseason. Of those two teams, do you think one is better fit for him than the other? Could he play alongside Ant and Brunson in Minnesota and still be effective? Or will Miami just give him more opportunities to be on the ball? So if it's Minnesota or Miami, where do you think Durant
Minnesota
fits in better?
Harper, you take this one first.
Those are the two that are being kicked around.
See, I think we talked about this a while ago. KD is in a difficult spot because of how often he moves around and what teams usually would have to give up for a guy of his status, even at 36, I think he is.
Yeah, I think that's right.
He's not getting any younger, but he can still hoop. So a lot of teams it's tough because they have to weigh, okay, if we want him, we know that we're going to have to give up quite a bit. So we're depleting our roster to get a guy like that, which then the irony in that is KD want to win. Well, if a team depletes and guts their roster to get you, you're in a worse situation from them when a team that you came from.
Yeah.
So he's in a tough spot because he don't never want to stay still because he wants to win. He wants the credit when you win, but he doesn't want to be the reason why you lose. And I've realized that about KD. And I love KD.
That's well
He's
said.
a Hall of Famer.
That's well said.
He is one of the greatest players of all time. But he wants the credit when you win, but he does not want to have anything to do with it when you lose, as if he's not a superstar. So that's a difficult place to be for either one of those teams like Miami. And I don't think he works in Minnesota because you got to give up too much to get him. And he don't work with Ant.
Yeah, and you got to think about Ant and Julius. We forgetting totally about Julius because he's kicking ass.
Yeah, he said it.
You got two good players right now.
Anthony
Edwards, you don't
Julius
need
Randle.
KD.
Yeah.
So if you look at Miami Heat ain't got shit. Everybody wants Tyler Hero to be a hero, but he ain't.
He's not.
And I think Kevin Durant and Bam will work really good together.
Yeah.
We forget about how good defensively Kevin Durant is. We don't talk about that. You got him, you got Bam. I know it ain't shit on Miami's team you won't, but Bam, so you're going to work some miracles to get that. But I think if I'm KD, I want to, first of all, go somewhere where I can win. But if I don't have a choice that out of those two, I would take Miami. Even though I know you will win in Minnesota, but the chemistry wouldn't be right. You back into a situation where you're playing with a big three in Phoenix.
But we keep saying this about KD. And at some point in time, it's not like KD is a role player where he does one thing well and I can add this to a team that just don't have it. Mm-hmm. He's a superstar still. Like, he is a future Hall of Fame player that still plays at a high level. So going somewhere where I can win, bro, the winning is attached to you. That's like Jordan, if it didn't work out with the Bulls, hey, I just want to go somewhere where I can win. The winning is attached to you. You can't detach winning from you all of a sudden when things aren't going your way. You got to take the good with the bad. And if you're going to take the winning and take the praise, you got to take the losing and the ridicule. And I just don't think he works well with that on that latter part. And I think that's the thing that's kind of been held against him to a degree. So wherever he goes, he's going to be looked at as a very big and key piece to win. He's not a role player.
Yeah. And I think Minnesota's already crowded as it is, not just with those two guys, but just in general. So, I mean, to fit in a group like that's impossible. I think he's just going to have a lot more freedom if he were to go to Miami. And I don't know how Miami even puts together any kind of package to keep Bam there and add Kevin Durant, because I just don't know how that works. I don't know if you would have to. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what else would they even want.
Because you think about, if you Phoenix, you don't want Tyler Hero because we already got.
Yeah, you got Devin Booker.
What else? It's like, you think there's nothing on that Heat team. No. But picks that you might want.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna move him for picks.
Sometimes we get caught up in one team too. It could be a multiple team trade. We can do something like that.
You might put a bunch of stuff together. But who knows? Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, it was a good question. All right, listen. This one I'm gonna play a piece of audio, and then I have an actual Robert Horry question from somebody that came up on Twitter yesterday, which I was like, oh shit. All right. So first the audio. Pro golfer Harry Higgs. Never heard of the man, but he's on the Pro Golf Tour. And a reporter asked him a question during his press conference during the last tournament and said, there's this rumor going around that you feel like that you can train yourself to dunk a basketball. Like, that's something you can learn to do. And then Harry Higgs spends the next, I have it cut down to about 40 seconds, explaining how he thinks he can do this.
I am of the belief that I, and anybody, you can train yourself to do anything. I think somebody brought up marathon. I think a marathon would be easier. And I know looking at me, that sounds ridiculous. I said it in passing. It's not a couple years. I said I think I could do it within a decade. Now, I'm 33. I understand that the decade is going to be a little short. If I were to do it, which I'm never going to, I think I have like 2 to 4 years of probably 2 years of straight training. And I think it would be possible. And no one in the morning wave today believes that I could do that.
No, you can't train yourself to dunk a basketball, right?
How tall is he?
Let's find out. That's a great question.
There's a lot of things that come into this. And first of all, it sounds like he was a white guy, so that's going to really hurt you. Because white men can't jump.
Harry Higgs is 6'2", by the way.
Oh, fuck no.
And he
can train as much as he wants.
I'm going to say this kindly. He's chunky. So he's 6'2" and chunky.
He must be talking about jumping off a trampoline. Now, don't get me wrong. Let me say, if you're walking down the street and you find a guy who's 6'2", 6'3", and has an athletic build.
I was going to say, Muggsy Bogues, he wasn't a dunker, but could he dunk?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Muggsy could dunk, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying that if you gave me a 21-year-old that's 6'2", 6'3", and let me train him, you could have him dunking in less than 10 years because it's about putting him in with the right trainer and developing the right muscles and being able to work on his explosion. So,
but some guy mid-30s,
windmill dunk.
Mid-30s, right, but mid-30s, maybe about 20, 30 pounds a little heavier than you should be.
No, that shit ain't happening.
And not possible?
Not possible.
Okay.
Unless he got Rex Chapman genes in him, we don't know about it.
I don't know. So I don't know how you train to dunk. Like, I mean, I get that you train to jump higher. I get that, but there's only so much you can elevate your jump to you know what I mean? Like, and especially at that age, like once you start to hit your mid-30s, it kind of falls off at that point.
Yeah.
Like the athleticism of your youth starts to disappear. So I don't know. I wanted to get your opinion if you thought you could train.
Man, they should have cut that man mic off when he started going down this road.
Hey,
it goes on for like a good 2 minutes too. It's
hey,
fun.
if you let me train for a decade, I'm sure me and 99 other me's can beat a gorilla.
Yeah. Good for you. All right. Last topic and shoot around this week. I'm gonna wrap it up. I need clarification from you on something. A tweet went out this week from a woman named Miss Independent, and it just said this: being insecure about your girl having a celebrity crush is crazy. Like, when and where is she ever going to see him? Get over it. That was the idea of the tweet, right? Okay, a simple tweet. Someone retweets this and says, quote, Robert Horry was sending my girl drinks at the club in 2007. All caps, do you understand who Robert Horry was in San Antonio in 2007? I require you know how many people sent me this? Tons of people start tagging me on Twitter. Oh my god, you got to ask Rob, were you sending drinks to some girl in a club in San Antonio in 2000? By the way, is your wife here? Or did she left?
No, she showed me this text.
Oh,
so.
Did she show you this? Okay, yeah. It was all over Twitter this weekend, and I'm like, what the hell is this? So someone is swearing you sent their girl drinks at the club in 2007.
Hey, you guys know me, and do it even seem like I would send someone a drink? That means that's money out of my pocket.
I do know you. I didn't know you in 2007.
No,
but I'm too cheap to do some shit like that.
I also know the only time you were here, the first thing you said was, "Let's do shots." So
that was you. I know you guys. I don't know.
It was the first thing. I'm like, I got 2.5 hours of work,
first of all, it could have happened because when my boys come to San Antonio, we hanging out. Of course, you want them to have a good time. They might have sent some girls some shots and said it was from me, so to get them to come over, and then they take over and start talking. But no,
okay. So were you ever send a drink to a girl kind of guy?
Dude,
like, now, even in your younger days when you were single before you were married, like, because that always for me felt like if you're gonna talk to a girl, just go talk to a girl. Like, sending them a drink and like, hey, like, this seems so creepy.
No. Wait, hold on.
Okay.
I can't let you do that because I think that's a clever way of doing things, because I think that's a way that some people look at breaking the ice. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't other ways that you can go about doing it, but if you find out what the young lady's drinking, like you've seen plenty of times, you ask the bartender, hey, what's such and such
it's
drinking?
A Midori Sour. And you just go, cool. Can you just throw a little roofie in that joker and send it her way?
No, absolutely not. But you see what she's drinking, you order one, and you send one to her.
Yeah.
And then depending on whatever signal she sends you, or whatnot, I guess for some people that's the door that opens up for you to go talk to her.
Yeah, I've sent a table of people some drinks before, just because they sent me a drink, so I sent a drink back. But first of all, I'm not gonna ever send a girl a drink that's with a guy. And I got my balls ain't that big because I don't know who that dude is or what kind of craziness he got up in. I remember one time. Me and my best friend was at this daiquiri place, and the girl asked for my autograph, and next thing I know, the dude was smacking her around. We had to call the cops because he said, I told you not to talk to that motherfucker, and just went off. So from that moment on, I keep my eyes forward. I ain't trying to get involved in that because guys are crazy nowadays. They want to protect their girlfriends. They want to show who their manhood is. So that ain't something I do.
I'm going to quote tweet this thing with a clip from this show that you just tell the story about not having done that. So we get an answer.
Also, you got to take into consideration to like the original question. You have women who, when Chris Brown will go on concert, he does the meet and greet. And those women paid, $1,100 to take pictures. And there have been a lot of women who have lost their relationship with their dude because of because Chris will take any picture. Like he's holding women and doing all kind of stuff and hugging them in all type of ways that has caused a lot of these women to lose relationships. Spend $1,100. They ain't even spend $1,100 on their dude. They spent $1,100 on a celebrity crush to take a picture. Now, obviously, it's something that they'll remember for forever. But that you don't think that's weird? That is very weird.
Yeah. No, there's nothing more weirder than meeting someone, a couple, and then the first thing out of the dude's mouth is, "You are my hall pass." They ain't said hello, how you doing? And Candace looks at me. I'm like, hey, I don't know the damn lady. She said hall pass. That shit ain't happening.
My goodness.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's great. But that's the one thing about being in California. You have those, what they call a hall pass or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's the first thing Candace said. That's one thing you would never get is a hall pass because you live in LA. Ain't no telling who you gonna run into.
Oh,
so ain't no hall pass happening.
Not happening.
I would never do a hall pass anyway. I'm too old for that shit. Yeah. And I'm happily married. But the funny part about, when you meet people like that and they say you send drinks over, I'm like, that's a good story to tell because the dude said multiple drinks, right?
The guy said, quote, Robert Horry was sending my girl drinks, plural, at the club in 2007.
I'm not, dude, stop it. I don't know who that dude is, so I ain't sending your girl no drinks. So stop it. Hey, that's almost as bad as that rumor. So it's something about me in San Antonio rumors.
Yeah,
rumor
that
man. I'm the father of Tim Duncan's kids. I'm like,
I've
shit,
seen
man.
That. I've seen that.
I'm like, that. It's so much. It's like, this shows to show you why I love San Antonio, but hated San Antonio. It's the people there are awesome. The food there is awesome. But it's the biggest, smallest town in the world where they just fucking start rumors for no reason. So,
fans are weird. Yeah. Mm-mm. So Rob says no hall pass. How long before we see him in a video with Holly Berry? Laying in bed with a little can of lube? No?
Hey, that means some duckies gonna be kicking them money out.
Tell you what, if that's your next Instagram sponsored post, then you and I have to have a conversation.